Hi guys, this is Val from valkayink, and today we are talking about 3 figures that are previous One Piece Figuart Zeros. These have been featured in my room tour video from a couple years ago, but I've had requests for all 3 of these guys. So I wanted to take a closer look at them and talk about why these are some of my favorite One Piece Figuart Zero figures and just some of my favorite characters in general. And today I just want to start off with this big guy, Magellan. So I'm going to zoom in and we'll get a closer look at him. Here is a nice zoomed in shot of Magellan, and this Figuart Zero came out quite a while ago. I did pick this one up back when he was brand new, and I just really love the way they did this figure, and the Magellan Luffy fight is one of my favorites, so I felt like I really needed to have this guy in my collection. And he has the venom fruit, so he does have these venom dragons, which make the coolest, almost zipper-like sound in the anime. I don't know, I really like how they did him. He's tall. This guy is big. Like, if I back him up, he is about 11 inches or 28 centimeters tall. So yeah, he's just a really big figure. The other thing that's so nice about him is all of the detail work that went on him. You know, he has a very specific look. He has this giant oversized coat. He has his ropes, all of his impelled down medallions, his little hat. I love how tiny his hat is. And of course, he has his horns and the whole devil wing persona that comes with the hellish prison of impelled down. So he's just a very cool looking figure. I always thought that they would come out with a POP of this guy, but given how enormous a character he is, I guess they just didn't want to bother with that. Also, even though this is an 11-inch, 28 centimeter tall figure, he's still not even in scale with the Figuarts Zero's Luffy. So I remember there was a lot of criticism of this figure when he first came out, one of which was the color of the clear plastic that they used for the Venom Dragons. A lot of people said that it's too light a color. A lot of other people said they just didn't like Magellan's face on this figure. They said that it just didn't look right. Unfortunately, that's just Magellan's face. It's just kind of how he looks. But I think more than that, people were referring to the fact that there were missed paint marks on his face. I know a couple of people had Magellans that didn't have colored in mouths. So that happens sometimes with the Figuarts Zero line. The other thing that's so cool about this figure is certain transitions, like the way his gloves of his hands drip into this translucent plastic. I just don't see that very much on a lot of figures other than their hair, and this was really new back in the day when we saw these. I love that effect. I think it looks so cool. The other neat thing about this figure is, despite how heavy, because this guy is solid, he is solid plastic, even with his tiny boots, he still balances really well on his base. Again guys, this is the standard Figuarts Zero base. It of course has Magellan and impelled down and has his Jolly Roger on the base as well. So I've always had a soft spot for this figure. I think it looks great. This figure does actually come with a stand that you can pop behind his legs to help keep him propped up. This is great if you get a figure that accidentally has like a bent peg, or he has like a weak connection from his legs to body. Some figures come with that. So this is a great way to make sure your figure won't tilt or bend over time. Personally, I've never used it, but I also still have it, so there you go. I remember this figure was sought after for a little bit, completely ignored by a lot of others, and now currently he's just really impossible to find. But I love this one. I love the way they did the clear plastic. There's this viscosity in the venom that looks so good with this clear plastic. Also, he has this great, slightly metallic matte paint on his coat. It gives it a really interesting effect. I can say, after owning this figure for a while, this guy is a pain to dust. It's just that a lot of dust is just attracted to this translucent plastic, and these Venom Dragons, they're beautiful when they're clean, but when they're dusty, they kind of look like hell, and then they look even worse while you're cleaning it, and then once you get them clean, they're back to sparkly. So those are my thoughts on this guy. I love him. I think he's great. He was a wonderful adversary. Very interesting arc. I really wish I could get Sadie-chan and Hannibal to go with him. That would be really cool on either side of this figure. But maybe someday. I kind of missed the mark on those. But they're a little easier to find than this guy, unfortunately. Okay, and the next requested review was for this Figuarts Zero of Bepo. And here is Bepo. He is a very old Figuarts Zero. He still has the round base, which they did away with. But yeah, I love this guy. Bepo is awesome. This figure is a great representation of him. Look how amazing the Law logo looks on his back. Bepo is just a fun character. He is one of Law's men, right-hand bear basically. And not much came with this figure. We do have his angry face, and then we also have Bepo neutral face. I don't know. Some people call this his happy face, but he's just sort of meh here. I've always preferred his angry face. The other thing this figure comes with are his paws. He has these cute little paws. Paw pads, his claws, and he is, of course, doing his kung fu moves, or he can look like he's coming to give you a big old bear hug. Rawr. So I've always liked this figure. Again, another Figuarts Zero that has tiny boots, and yet it's balanced on its base for so many years. I've never had any warping or bending issues with him. So I've always really liked that about the Figuarts Zero line. The other thing that I do like to warn people about Figuarts Zeros, he does have a few factory imperfections. He has this brown mark. He came like that brand new in package, and he also has a couple of scuffs right on his back leg for some reason. That happens with a few of the solid painted pieces on Figuarts Zeros. Something to look out for, something that makes me kind of wary of buying them at a higher price. I remember people just liked this guy because he was a bear in a jumpsuit. A lot of people that I know who weren't One Piece fans went out and bought this figure. But after that, no one seemed very interested, and now he's a lot harder to find, and unfortunately, if you do find him, he's about triple the price of his original price. So be very wary, kind of keep into account how desperately you want a figure and if you're willing to pay more than original price for them. But this one's really fun. I just really like that they did this. I like this what gives pose. You can do a lot with him, even though for an older Figuarts Zero, he didn't come with a lot of accessories. He's just a really well crafted Figuarts Zero, even his profile. Looks like Bepo. And I just really like this character. Can't help it, he's so cute. Anyway, he is about 6.5 inches, about 16 centimeters. So very standard size for Figuarts Zeros. They're usually around 5 to 6.5 inches tall. The last request that I got was for this Frankie figure. This is Timeskip Franky, and this one was released right after the time skip, and ooh boy is this figure controversial. At the time when the new time skip designs were revealed, there was a lot of talk about people either loving or hating on designs, and I remember Frankie being one of the ones that people absolutely hated. And yet, this is one of the best of the Figuarts Zero's completed figures. He is just a fantastic version. Now, he is an older Figuarts Zero. He does have some problems. His paint is a little bit spotty in parts, and some of his features, like on his feet, they look a little dull. They don't look as well fleshed out, as well designed. But the rest of this Frankie figure is really beautiful. It has a fantastic mix of matte color and shine, because these metallic parts on Frankie are really fantastic. These Battle Frankie 37 shoulders are really high shine. The metal on his legs is a bit of a duller shine, and then his skin is very matte. Now this figure is also unique because he can actually stand without his base. Let me just pop that. Because of the position of this hand, he actually stands by himself, something that most Figuarts Zeros do not do. Most of them do need their bases. Now the big controversy with Frankie was, of course, his body is completely different. His hair got chopped off, and people could not handle that. But this did come with accessories. He did come with an alternate head that has old classic Frankie hair to help ease some people. I don't know why I don't keep his classic hair on. I think his teeth look odd on it. He also does come with Frankie sunglasses. And if you guys know Val, you know that I love a character with sunglasses. They just look cool. I love that accessory. Very easy to lose. Be careful. These things will just leave you in a heartbeat. They're awful that way. I also just love his Hawaiian shirt. He's just a fun character. Frankie is so great. If you don't know One Piece, just know that Frankie is kind of like jazzed up Ace Ventura. That's a good way to describe him. He's a lot of fun. Of course, he has his little Speedos. He has his knees. These hand parts actually do move if you want them posed in different ways. So yeah, this figure was also a little bit more on the expensive side. He's not exactly tall. He's only 5.5 inches tall, and that's about 15 centimeters. But he's very wide. He's about 6 inches, about 15.5 centimeters wide. So you need some space if you're gonna display him with your other figures. I always have trouble displaying this one. But yeah, he is just one of my favorites. I've always liked this one. And for a little while, he was so expensive. Sometimes Figuart Zeros just triple in price because of the character or the design. Sometimes they just get a little astronomical. You can still find this Frankie, and I believe he's gone down in price. It's just rare now. He's just a little bit harder to find. And now there is the 20th anniversary Frankie, so you can get an even better Frankie now. But unfortunately, all of the new Figuart Zeros are starting price at least 45 to 50 USD. Which is weird. I have a lot of trouble with that because this line used to be the affordable One Piece figure line. It used to be 20 bucks, you're guaranteed a nice figure. Now they're kind of hitting up into used POP prices. I don't know how I feel about that. It's even harder now because the international shipping has gone up in the past couple of years. I'm pretty sure it's about doubled. So I'm not as keen on buying smaller figures and then paying such a high shipping. But I do know that these are 3 of my absolute favorite figures. I've always loved these guys. I just think they look great. They are just key pieces in my sets. And I'm really glad that you guys asked to see these a little bit closer. I'm gonna throw Giant Magellan back in here. Look at that belt. It just looks cool. It's so hard to review Magellan because it's so hard to get a good full shot of him with the Hydra. But yeah, Venom Hydra, definitely the highlight of this figure. He just looks so cool. Rah. That will do it for this review, guys. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I just want to say hi to all my new subscribers. I don't know where all of you came from, but you are all very welcome to come hang out with me and talk to me about figures or your favorite animes. I'm going to be having quite a few new videos up soon, and I just adore chatting with you guys. Really happy that you've come by, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's a little bit different, a little bit of a classics video. But anyway, hi to all my new subscribers. You guys rock, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.